right, welcome back, everybody. Sorry we missed you. We took a week off. We all tried to get healthy, but we missed a lot. We missed a lot of sports. Mainly, we missed what we're going to talk about this week, and that is the Winter Olympics is finally wrapped up, completed. Per se, I would say the United States had a pretty successful showing at the Winter Olympics, and we'll kind of discuss this. But what we've tasked ourselves, the boys and I, we are each going to cover two different sports. We had a little draft, and we're going to cover two specific sports that we thought were interesting and give you a little history, some interesting facts, and then also how Team USA did in those Olympic events. And so it is with my pleasure to introduce
What up,
Giovanni,
everybody?
aka Giovanni Schefter, and
What up?
Coop Dog.
Yes, sir. It's been too long.
Too long
Yeah.
indeed. Too long indeed. All right.
Yeah.
So what we have done is we said that we were going to break down a little bit of the Winter Olympics. What was your guys' thoughts overall before we get into this?
Well, I gotta say that the Winter Olympics was pretty great. Well, despite that Lindsey Vonn injury, I saw that was
Before
so
we even got started.
heartbreaking.
Yeah.
And Jack Hughes traded his teeth for a gold medal. That is crazy. But overall, the Winter Olympics for this year was quite successful.
Yeah, I think personally he should have his medal melted down and just fake teeth made out of gold.
I was going to say the exact same
How
thing.
sweet would that
I keep
be?
on seeing the videos of people saying that, and it's like, dude, totally.
I mean, they literally handed him replacement teeth in the
Yeah,
form
definitely.
of a medal. Thought that, I mean, what a way to end the Olympics. Anytime you can get like real national and just root for your squad, kind of like anytime the World Cup rolls around or the Summer Olympics, the FIBA basketball tournament, those kinds of things. It's always fun to get behind the United States and to be honest with you, learn some new people, some new names, and know that we're all kind of fighting for the same thing here when it comes to sports. So I had a good time watching it. I know that we talked about it on previous streams that anytime when I was growing up, you had to tune in at a specific hour, especially if it was across the pond over in China. But nowadays you get the Peacock, some NBC, and you can literally watch whatever you want, whenever you want, get the full stream, get highlights. It's pretty awesome.
It's pretty nice.
Yeah.
Pretty
So
nice.
you guys are living in a day and age where you got these nice cushy Olympics.
Yeah.
Not to say much else, but let's if you guys are ready, let's get into this. And I think we could each spend some time talking about some events here.
Okay.
You ready?
Yeah.
We're ready.
Let's do it.
Yes, sir.
All right. Milano Cortina,
Italy.
Winter Olympics 26. And yeah, this was northern Italy. We're looking at the Alps. A little bit of Sound of Music.
And Italians.
The Italians. The Sound of Music. You guys familiar?
The movie?
I believe so.
The musical? The movie? Yeah.
I believe so, yeah.
Just making sure. I don't know if that one was too far removed from you guys, but yeah. Okay, so the Winter Olympics. Let's start some stats around here.
Okay.
Let's look at the medals themselves. The gold medal is monetarily valued at about $2,000. And it's really only, I mean, what is that? A 10% gold. It's mixed in silver and gold, which is kind of neat to know. Then the silver medal is significantly less. It's just pure silver, and it is only worth about $1,000. And you mark that down to the bronze, which in this case was pure copper with a value of about $5. So definitely not worth getting rid of. I don't know if anybody would get rid of their gold medal. I feel like that's worth way more to the person who has earned it than $2,000.
And also, when you look at the stats and the letters on the medals, it says AG and AU. It's like elements, like science.
Yep, those are the atomic symbols.
Yeah, pretty
It's
nice.
like chemistry class.
Yeah. The final medal count, just to round it out, the
Yeah,
U.S. came away in second place, and that was tight for a while, just edging out the home country of Italy.
yeah,
But yeah, give it up to Norway. They absolutely
yeah,
dominated. The Norwegians definitely. I mean, I get it. Their country is basically frozen year round, so
yeah,
um, it's an advantage of living in the Arctic Circle. None of those countries really surprise me. Um, the United States is probably the ones that would fit the warmest climate. I would say maybe Japan as well. But at the same time, with facilities and everything that comes with technology and advancements in technology, the USA is right there with everything. Um, but yeah, 18 golds for Norway, 12 golds for the United States, 10 for Italy. Uh, but yeah, we're gonna get into a couple of these, and I think that you'll see that it was everything the United States could do. It's actually quite impressive that they got second place because I feel like every event that I looked at, um, the United States was not in the top three. So we
yeah.
must have really excelled at a couple.
I mean, even beyond these top 8, there were some like when you look at the total medal counts, there were some like gold medal countries where I was like, okay, what sport is this? Because I believe it was Kazakhstan had a gold medal ice skater, figure skater, and he was Kung Fu Panda. He was dressed as Kung Fu Panda and won gold for Kazakhstan. And I was
Wow.
like,
He's
dude,
got my gold.
that is awesome. I saw it. I was like,
Yeah,
it's
he's got my
crazy.
gold vote. You dress up like Kung Fu Panda. That's
Wow.
so. All right. So how about I kick it off? And I don't know if you guys are okay with that or not, but I'm gonna
Yeah, it
kick it off
sounds
and I'm gonna
good.
go through all these. My first pick, I think Giovanni got first overall pick, and we'll save the best for last. How about that, Giovanni?
Okay.
But Giovanni took the U.S. men's hockey team, or the event of hockey, which was dominated by the U.S. of A. Um, and then Cooper took a couple others, and you'll see what I round out with here. But we got the biathlon, which I think is one of the coolest events. Only because you get to shoot a rifle and ski at the same time. You're basically carrying weaponry on your back. And most people would say that the United States should be pretty good at shooting a rifle compared to these other countries that, well, they have way stricter gun laws than we do. Um, and not to get political, it's just they live in a different country than we do. And the United States, or there's a large sect that is very in love with guns, and that's okay. But you would think the United States, with their large love for weaponry, would be a lot better at the biathlon, but well, we weren't. So the biathlon history, let's take a peek at that. The biathlon actually it's pretty neat. It goes back 4,000 years. So let's think about that. Around the same time as, I don't know, the Egyptians, we got guys competing in the biathlon. Now, it always starts further back in a sense of this was a form of survival that turned into a competition, and that competition just took over. But you can see there were depictions on cave walls of people skiing while shooting arrows. And so the 4,000 years is pretty amazing. Then the first competitions began in 1767. So before the United States was even a country, we have Swedish and Norwegian border guards that would go out skiing while carrying muskets, and that was a skill that they must have. You can kind of see from the picture there on the right. And then finally, the first true international competition during the Winter Olympics in Chamonix, France. Um, where military police introduced or were included as a demonstration event. And so this one has been around for over in the Olympics for over 100 years.
Wow.
So that's the history of the biathlon. And so
Yeah.
while looking at the biathlon, it's not just men's, women's. There is a ton of events when it comes to the biathlon. We have individual and sprint events. So the men's 200-kilometer individual and the women's 1,500-kilometer individual, along with the men's 10-kilometer sprint and the women's 7.5-kilometer sprint. And Cooper, you could probably attest to this. Does 20 kilometers sound like a sprint to you?
No.
That's a big negatory, Ghost Rider. But by the term sprint, it's not that you're not running laps, I guess. It is a 20-kilometer hike, basically. And in between each, there's 5 stops where you fire a rifle at targets. And in this case, there is a time penalty added to it. Then we have the pursuit and mass start races. And pursuit is a staggered start. There you can see the distances as well. 12.5 kilometers for men, 10 for women. And then the mass starts are 15 kilometers and 2.5 kilometers. Or I'm sorry, 12.5 kilometers. But yeah, the mass starts just sound wild to me. Where you have about 20 competitors all wielding weaponry on skis. And it's just, you can kind of see from the picture on the right there that it's packed. And there's a lot of drafting involved. And there's some strategy, especially when you're moving as far as 15 kilometers. And then relay events, obviously, you got mixed relays and men's relays, and the same thing. Now, I believe I have some rules here. Ideally, the rule is that you ski fast and you shoot straight. I guess that's the rule of thumb. But then there are penalties that come with either missing your target or not doing what you're supposed to be doing. So in the sprints, pursuits, mass starts, there's a 150-meter penalty loop for each missed target. So you could see there how that could add up quite quickly. And if it comes down to, well, if I missed one more shot than this guy and he's right next to me, you're probably going to lose, right? Because you have to ski 150 more meters. And then some of the more sprinty, shorter tracks, you have 75 meters individual. They're tacking on a minute. Short individual 45 seconds. So thought that was kind of interesting that there's different rules for the different lengths or the different events. But we as the United States, as you can tell, I don't have a slide because the United States didn't do jack squat. It was Norway, like you saw there. They are exemplar. Several were Italy. They did really good. But most of the golds were taken by Norway. It was quite impressive. I think that's where they came in and did most of that. Now, Cooper, I believe you took cross-country skiing.
I did take cross-country skiing, but before we get into mine, the one thing I noticed about the biathlon is you talk about the mass start, and it's 20 people.
Mm-hmm.
I just find it's so interesting because like cross-country races, the races I run, like OHSAA high school races, some races we'll get like numbers, honestly, probably 10 times that, like 200 kids running a race.
Yeah.
And it's just interesting because to them, like, yeah, that's a mass start, but it's only 20 people. But you have to think, they're on the ski track. Like you can see the paths that their skis have to follow. It's really cool, man.
Yeah, I thought the mass starts were interesting, and then you get that many people around you, and well, they're all wielding rifles, and you really have to be careful with those as well.
Right.
I can't imagine a high school cross country meet where they're all also carrying rifles.
Yeah, I mean it's kind of the same, but we just all have spikes on. You get
Yeah, there
stepped
you
on a
go.
little bit.
There you go. You do get the back of your Achilles kind of scraped up. Yeah, I was gonna mention to you. I know you have cross country skiing, but I think that's where the United States struggles the most. It might not be the rivalry. I think it might be more the ability or the practice at cross country skiing is where these other countries that are well more mountain based or larger snowscapes that they might do a lot better. I'm not an English teacher. They might do better there because they have they have, like I said, Norway. They're frozen year round, and so they might be a lot better at those kinds of things for that reason. Um, but yeah, the United States did not show up for the biathlon,
Yeah.
so
I was watching a little bit of it, and yikes.
it's tough. Oh, I'm not judging the United States or any American for not
Yeah.
meddling. I think,
Unfortunately, I was sick during the Winter Olympics, so I
yeah.
did not watch a lot of biathlon. But honestly, U.S. so disappointing.
Well, I mean, 20 kilometers. Speak to us in layman's term here, Cooper. 20 kilometers. What's 2K?
Well, 20 kilometers, if I'm not mistaken, is about 12 and a half miles.
Okay. So imagine skiing 12 and a half miles and then stopping in between each one and shooting a rifle. So I think
That's
that
ridiculous, man.
would be quite difficult to be on top of your game if that is not something you practice quite often.
Oh,
So
for sure.
it's a half a marathon. Let's just call it a half a marathon,
Yeah.
plus riflery, and it's cold. So
Okay.
I'll continue, guys.
Okay.
I'll get mine out of the way, and then you guys can go. The next one I
Okay.
picked, and the reason I picked this, I was hoping that this was going to be one of the ones that got around to me. I went last in our little selection pool here, but curling. There was some drama with curling, and we'll get into that.
There was some
There
drama.
was
Yeah, I saw that controversy too.
some second touches going on. Some
Yeah.
unacceptable. All right. Anyway,
Yeah.
curling origins about 1500. So we're looking at over 500 years old. This is an over 500-year-old
Wow.
sport. Um,
Insane.
obviously, they didn't have photography back then, so that's the closest picture I could come up with.
Yeah.
And basically, they just have handles on stones and some brooms. But the origins in this case came from ancient Scotland, Paisley, involving throwing stones on ice, and that's basically all it was. And I can only imagine, you look at some of the stones that are out there now, and I can only imagine that some of those 500 years ago, what some of those Scots, what that looked like. Um, I think that would be pretty interesting. I doubt they were as well polished and rounded like they are now. I could have just been just giant blocks of granite getting thrown around. But the early equipment, we had irregular, unshaped stones were used. More refined stones were produced from granite found at Ailsa Craig, Scotland, and they still are today. It's kind of crazy, and
Wow.
I'll give you some stats here on that later.
Okay.
But the first curling clubs were formed in Scotland, and the Royal Caledonian Curling Club was founded in 1838 to regulate the game. So it must have gotten contentious. It seems to me like curling, and from what I understand, that this was more of like a good old boys pub sport, kind of like darts or
Yeah.
shuffleboard. Obviously, it's like shuffleboard, but I could see, if some gentlemen are enjoying some Scottish beverages and throwing
Yeah.
some money down on it, that this could get contentious. In fact, we saw that this year in the Olympics. Um, so obviously there was the Royal Caledonian Curling Club was invented to regulate the game and probably track it, and so teams could compete and tournaments could be held, and here's where we are. It was then included in the Olympics. So the Scottish immigrants introduced it to North America with the first club in Montreal opening in 1807, and the Olympics, it
Totally
was
lost focus.
demonstration sport multiple times: 1932, 1988, 1992. before becoming an official medal sport in 1998. So it's a relatively
Wow.
new Olympic sport, but it's been
The
around for
history, as I say, the
500
history goes
years.
back for a long
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah.
And so here we see the curling stone. Again, ancient roots. They would play literally on the Scottish lochs and ponds. A
Mm.
loch is a lake, typically carved out by glaciers. Loch Ness, the most famous. The oldest stone, the Stirling stone, inscribed with the first date of 1511, was the oldest known curling stone. How many of you, when you see the videos, I mean, it was like kind of viral at the time with the guy. He looked like he had a bug spray on his back and it was just water. And he's
Yeah.
spraying it like this and walking backwards. And it was kind of crazy. Did you guys catch that? Did you
I
see
think I
that?
did. That was
It was
crazy.
kind of like, what is he doing? That's not, like in hockey, they do the Zamboni driver to get the ice nice and flat again, so there's no cuts and marks in it. Well, it's actually the opposite. That gentleman that's doing that, it's called pebbling the ice, and what he's doing is he's adding little droplets to the ice to give it friction or to
That's
reduce the
cheating.
friction. No, that's part of the rules.
Oh.
And
Okay. Gotcha.
it's
Gotcha.
to
Gotcha.
reduce the friction, so the amount of surface area that's actually touching. And when they go over it with the brooms, that's what they're doing, is they're kind of smoothing out areas so that the stones curl,
Okay.
thus curling. The stone, an Olympic stone costs around $960. So one
Wow.
one stone is $960. And those I had mentioned it. They all come from one place. So if you wanted to buy a set of stones, it's going to cost you around $15,000. Isn't that
Wow.
wild?
It is
For the
wild.
price of a new car, you could own your very own set of curling stones.
Doesn't
Yeah.
Wow.
sound that bad of a deal. I think
Yeah.
I would buy that.
Yeah. It's a good trade-off. This giant stone, giant paperweight, $1,500. No, here's why. Primarily, they come from an uninhabited Scottish island of Ailsa Craig, which I'm sure I'm butchering that because the Scottish and the Welsh all have their own languages. But yeah,
Yeah.
I'm sure I'm not saying that right. It's located
It's
off the
okay.
Ayrshire coast, Cay, Scotland, a company that is over 170 years of existence and has the exclusive rights to the harvest of this rare water resistant granite, specifically blue, hone, and common green. And then they are specifically manufactured for Olympic standards, which is pretty neat.
Yeah.
So I had heard that they had mentioned that on one of the events that I was watching, and I was like, that has to be talked about.
And
Uh,
well,
Go ahead,
if I
Cooper.
could just jump in, what
Yeah,
I find
interject.
really cool about like how this is the most water resistant granite, like it's like the perfect granite for these weirdly niche stones that they're creating for this sport that is not super popular. It kind of reminds me of I don't know if you know the story, but when they talk about mudding the baseballs,
Yeah. Oh
right?
yeah.
And the
There's like
mud,
one family that owns a swamp in
yeah,
Louisiana, and they sell this mud to the rest of the MLB, and like they have the rights to all that mud.
and it started in the 1800s because this guy, he was just like he liked the way the mud felt on the ball, and he knew of this place that had
Right.
this swamp, and he sells the mud. They have the only rights to the MLB, but the MLB is trying to find a different way to mud the balls.
Mm-hmm.
But this mud is just so perfect
Yep.
that like it is the perfect, gritty but not too wet texture. Like whatever they need, it's like I just find that so cool.
Mm-hmm.
They're
Yeah.
little
So if
family owned stuff that kind of makes its way onto the main stage.
yeah, that's like it's a great backstory is what it is.
Yeah.
And yeah, from the baseball perspective, baseballs they come packed individually in cellophane or plastic, and there is like a packing oil that's on them. And so if you were to take a nice white baseball out of this packaging, they're really slick. And when you get major leaguers who are throwing 100 miles an hour, That they don't know where that ball's going after it comes out of their hands. So what they do is they add just a thin amount of basically grit to it so that they have some traction on the baseball. And so a lot of times, that's why you see some pitchers maybe adding a little extra substances to help get that grip. And I'll be honest with you, there are a lot of batters out there too that are like, hey, I'm okay with pitchers using a little bit of stickum on the baseball because the alternative is this 100-mile-an-hour fastball in my ear hole. So it's that again, yes, that's one of those niche things. Um, but going back to the curling stone, if you kind of look at some of the things on the stone there, you see the running band and the striking band. And then recently they added some technology to the curling stone. And there's some lights and some things, some sensors that, you're not allowed to be touching the stone past a certain point on the track or the court per se. And so if you are still touching the handle of that stone past a certain point, it'll alert and a light will go off. But that's kind of neat as well. We'll talk a little bit about that when we get into talking about the results. As far as results go, Canada took the gold for the men with an asterisk. We'll talk about that. The women, it was Sweden. And then for mixed doubles, Sweden also took the gold, but the USA snuck in there for mixed doubles to take the silver. And I think that was a big event for the United States of America. And that was a fun match to watch. It's pretty cool to watch these guys like curl these super heavy stones and just put them wherever they want. And they're basically playing shuffleboard at the highest level. It is pretty neat, pretty fun. But let's take a look at the Canada controversy, can we?
Mm-hmm.
So the Winter Olympics men's curling tournament was basically, and I'm just going to read you that little snippet that I typed up here. Defined by an intense drama, specifically a cheating scandal where Sweden accused Canada's Mark Kennedy of illegal double touching. And I'm sure you guys saw this. Kennedy
Mm-hmm.
strongly denied the allegations. Strongly. I don't know if you heard the clip or not. Firing back with expletives.
Profanity is.
Expletives. Again, not an English teacher. I'm struggling tonight. Which caused a viral, heated rivalry that Canada ultimately overcame. So in the end, they weren't found guilty of anything. And, there's all kinds of cameras all over the place now. So I can't say that they were cheating. I don't think that they were, but it certainly looked like they were. Once you let go of that handle and you tell that stone where to go, you are not allowed to touch it again. But if you look really closely in the magnifying glass there, you can see that Mr. Mark Kennedy appears to touch it with his index finger as it is after it is released, I guess I should say. So I don't know. What did you guys think of that whole controversy there?
I mean, that was pretty insane. I saw the controversy of this. I don't think he wasn't cheating, but I'm really surprised they denied these allegations. I'm really surprised, but
I'm
I'm
surprised they
not going to
found
comment
them.
on this, but that was it.
I'm surprised they found them innocent. Maybe they didn't have enough. The ref
Well,
went to the on-field camera and found inconclusive evidence.
so I actually have an answer to that.
Oh, okay.
Is the camera angle that you see on that magnifying glass where it's looking at the side angle,
Uh-huh.
they could not accept that as
Oh.
evidence because it came from a Swedish broadcasting network. It wasn't an
Oh.
official Olympic camera on whatever they had it airing on, Peacock, whatever.
Right.
It was Swedish. It was Swedish. It wasn't an official camera angle, and so they're like, "Yeah, we don't know if we can't confirm if that's doctored footage or whatever." So they couldn't accept it because it wasn't official camera.
Gotcha. So now it is back to the little asterisks.
So I think they just said it was inconclusive, but if you ask me, I think the Canadians were definitely not following the rules.
They were, from what he said, he was not sorry, eh?
Yeah.
You
It
can
was
go frig yourself, eh?
that's
Basically what he said.
Basically what he said.
Basically. PG.
Yeah.
Um, I have a feeling that those camera angles will be there next year or next Winter Olympics.
Yeah, 2030.
So, yeah. All right, gentlemen.
All right.
I have concluded my report. Who's
Mm.
next?
All right. Do we want to go? We can go to.
Let's go to cross country ski. Like I said, Giovanni, we're gonna save best for last.
Okay.
All right, cross country skiing, which is my slide. I thought I had an image on there, but I don't. But cross country skiing
You might have.
originated.
I might have to reload this. Go ahead.
No,
Keep going.
it's all
I'll
good.
get it.
But
I'll get it on there.
it came to the Olympics in the 1900s or the late 19th century, I do believe.
Uh-huh.
But the history goes back, like the skis themselves go back to over 6,000 years. It was a form of transport at the end of the day. That's what it started as, and then all these Northern European people are using their skis to cross distances, and then I'm sure you get in the 1800s, 1900s, and one guy says to the other guy, "Hey, I bet I could ski faster than you," and
Sure.
so it just developed into a competitive. And there it is. It kind of just became a competitive sport in the 1800s, 1900s. It joined the Olympics in 1924 as an official sport. But since then, the skis have generally stayed the same. But, over time, they add the poles that'll help you propel you in the sport, which they didn't start with the poles, which I found really interesting because it was probably really freaking hard to go up elevations without the poles. But, they add the poles, they add the suits, and then even after that, they add guns to it, and you get the biathlon. Right? It's totally crazy, and it's a Norwegian sport, as is basically everything in the Winter Olympics, because the Norwegians are good at all the winter sports.
Yeah, I
As we
mean,
learned,
when
as we
that's your
learned this year.
environment, year
I mean,
round.
we see mostly every year, but this year they topped everyone but the U.S. So yeah, and Norway has they host events, the Holmenkollen Ski Festival, because it's not just an Olympic sport. They come around, they have their own world champs every year, and I think I kind of talk a little bit about the results on the next slide.
Okay.
Yeah, there's actually kind of an insane amount of events for this. There's
it's kind of like the biathlon.
Yeah, I was gonna say there's 6 for each gender.
Hmm.
I don't believe there's a mixed relay, but you do have relays. You have this goes a little bit longer. You got the 50K, which is ridiculous.
That's
50
31
kilometers.
miles.
Yeah.
Wow.
So that's
further than a marathon.
I was gonna say you're watching further than a marathon on skis, and I don't know if you guys saw the video, but there was a Norwegian cross country skier going up a hill, and they clocked him at 12.5 miles an hour, going up like a 35-degree incline. And I'm like, dude, I don't think people realize how insane that is. Like these dudes are crazy, crazy athletes.
Yeah.
And the speed that they can pick up while they're skiing 30 miles is ridiculous.
Right. And you're talking in the mountains. So the altitude, the thin air, you're talking
freezing cold.
It's cold. Yep. There you go. And then also the fact that you've probably already done 20 miles worth of skiing and now you're sprinting uphill.
Right.
With giant shoes, basically.
It's ridiculous. I mean, yeah, the type of stuff that they have going on in cross country skiing, it's a little bit hard to watch when they're just skiing 30 miles. And the same with the marathon. I completely agree. As much as I like, going back and looking at the race summary videos afterwards, I'm not going to sit there for 2 hours while they run that out.
Yeah.
But in terms of results, the U.S. didn't do horrible. I mean, they picked up 2 silvers and a bronze across all 12 events. So, not the best, but you know what? It's definitely not that bad, especially considering, like you said earlier, how we're not great at the skiing. That's not really our forte, but
Yeah, I would say that's probably where we struggle the most. I didn't see many US medals in any kind of skiing, whether that be the biathlon, cross country skiing, even ski jumping. Um, but where we do excel at are like the X game sports, like the half pipe and that
right.
kind of stuff. But
And then that kind of brings me to the next sport that I had, which is speed skating.
okay,
Um, and so this one goes back a lot further because again, they bring out the skates so you can travel over ice. You
sure,
know, they really started using the skis in the 1500s, and like it's all Northern European. I feel like that's kind of how generally a lot of Winter Olympic sports
yeah,
goes. They originate in Northern Europe. Over the time, the tracks they were just straight, and then again, it was just people saying like, "Hey, I bet I could skate faster than you."
yeah,
And so they go out in front of the I don't know, like whatever. I don't know what Swedish people have in front of their houses, but it's like they go out in front of their house,
the
skate
canals,
on the ice,
yeah.
just go straight. It's like
Yeah, that's
I don't
what
know.
that's what I read too, was that it was literally their form of transportation.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Beside just walking around, it's cold, stuff frozen. It's faster to go down the rivers on blades rather than to walk places in the snow. And so, yeah, you get these competitions, right?
right. You're either gonna skate or you're gonna ski, I guess. But it's similar to cross country skiing in that the footwear itself has changed slightly. It just advances in technology. The idea is the same. You have a like lightweight shoe on top of a blade, and you use it to propel yourself forward on the ice. The big change, though, as we see, is the attire. You got the super slick high tech suits. The dude in the top picture, the older fella, he was like the first ever. Uh, I don't know what the word adjudicated like world champion, and his outfit is definitely different than the person on the bottoms.
It's not quite as streamlined.
Not quite, but
Yeah.
I mean that's I feel like that's how it goes in a lot of sports as well. Like track and field, you look at the
Hmm.
best sprinters, they got the super spikes now, and the jerseys are made of the lightest materials ever instead of the heavy cotton and embroidered, country
Right.
name.
Right.
But yeah, it again, it goes from people racing and they're saying, "I'm faster than you," and then you get these clubs popping up all around of, like ski clubs, they're skating clubs, and you train and you become faster and then you compete, and then over time it comes to the Western nations, the United States, and everyone in the NA area and came into the Olympics. Well, the 400-meter track came into the Olympics in 1916, which is actually really early for 400 meters because generally on that time, the normal distance, if I'm not mistaken, especially for outdoor track, was 440 yards, at least in America. So you kind of get that difference in distances are not the same. But now everything is the same on 400-meter tracks. And then you got the short track racing, which joined in 1992, which is actually a entirely different genre of skating where you have speed skating and short track speed skating because the short track is 111 meters in length, which is kind of weird, but it's similar to how an indoor track you're running on a 200-meter track, not 400-meter, but instead for skating it's 111, which I find really interesting.
Yeah, I
Wow.
was and I was watching some of these, and I don't know if you see, I feel like this viral clip always pops up around the time anytime a Winter Olympics comes around. But did you see the video of, I believe he was a Chinese speed skater, and it was one of the I think 1,500-meter events, so your mile speed skate event, um, where he took off in a sprint, did a full
And
lap,
then
and
caught up to
then
everyone
drafted
and back.
everybody and kind of rode it out, and he was done a lap before everybody else, and nobody kind of caught on to it. I thought
Wow.
that was kind of
Yeah.
neat.
And then
Um,
also, everyone said every year they talk about Stephen Bradbury from Australia, who it's literally become a whole thing to get. I think it's called being Bradburied, where he was in last the whole race, last lap, everyone falls down,
yeah,
and
that
he
was
comes through and swoops in the gold medal.
the Anton Apollo Ono,
Yeah,
um, Apollo Anton Ono. I can't remember his name, but famous
yeah, I know who you're
U.S.
talking
gold
about.
medalist speed skater, epic soul patch. Um, But, yeah, that was one where he was a sprinter, and, you get so tight on those corners that that's just part of the game, is tripping ends up happening, and they all kind of, like, fly into the wall, and you see, like and you gotta think, like, those blades that they have on the bottom of their skates are pretty close to razor thin. And people are leaving with like their clothes cut up or gashes in their legs or even their faces. And um, yeah, the one guy who's trailing the whole race, all he has to do is coast in for a win because everybody took everybody out because they're trying to pass on the inside. Um, but yeah, I've seen that clip as well. I feel like the sprint speed skating could be pretty dangerous
Yeah,
when watching
and then
the
and that's one where the U.S. is pretty good. Is those shorter
yeah.
distances, and on the next slide, I have the results from this year where what's his name? Jordan Stolz, who he won the 500 and the 1,000, so that he picked up two
Hmm.
of our golds there, and then yeah, we had two silvers and one bronze. But the U.S. has been generally pretty successful, like you said with Ono, and that was in like 2002. I think that was the Utah Olympics where Stephen
Mm-hmm.
Bradbury won. But like in that era, that was like the
Okay.
Ono era. But even
Yeah.
in more recent years, um, what's her name? Oh, last year or not last year, last Winter Olympics in 2022, you have Erin Jackson, who
Right.
she won the 500, and she was the first, uh, I believe, not only the first U.S.
African
female
American.
individual gold medal,
Yeah.
but the first Black
Yes.
American Winter Olympics gold medal. I mean, she was just fantastic,
Right.
and that's like where the U.S. tends to do a lot better in the Winter Olympics is the speed skating or
Mhm.
like you said, kind of the X Games stuff with the half pipe, snowboarding, which is
Big
really
air
cool.
tricks. Yeah.
Yeah, which is just awesome. That's one of the events that I can sit and watch for hours.
Mm.
I actually also like figure skating too, but I don't think
I thought this
anyone likes
year,
figure skating.
it was one of those ones where the U.S. men's figure skater, he flew too close to the sun, um, and he had just this ridiculous routine with backflips and like six triple axles and all these really really hard, like, I don't know what you call them, uh, tricks, I guess.
Right.
And he fell too many times and in the medaling round, and it ended up costing him. I think he dropped down to like 11th place. He was like, after his preliminary round, he was like up there near the top, and now it was he just fell too many times in the final
Yeah,
round.
the mixed figure skating was insane this year. It was just absolutely preposterous watching Canada, US, and then France in the gold medal round be the last couple to go, and they pull out like an absolutely flawless performance. And the French guy, he's the first ever person to medal with two different partners win a gold medal with two different partners,
Yeah.
and he did it in back-to-back Winter Olympics, which is insane. I mean, it was crazy. I was watching that and I felt like I was a seasoned veteran who had been watching forever. I was like, "No, No, really.
Yeah, those mixed couples routines, they are so in sync. It
That's
is
crazy.
crazy that just every blade touch is accounted for. Just everything
Yeah,
is calculated. It's pretty insane.
it's
Um,
it's crazy.
pretty insane. So, well, Giovanni, you ready for us?
Yeah.
Okay, here we go.
Alright.
Let's go back to there we go. Bring us home with the ice hockey.
Alright, so the ice hockey began in the early 1800s. They played ice hockey on frozen ponds in Nova
Nova Scotia.
Scotia
Nova
in
Scotia.
Ontario. The Mi'kmaq people in Nova Scotia played a similar game called Wicked using carved wooden pucks. In this year's Olympic gold winners for ice hockey was 34. Olympic silver winners for ice hockey was 34, and Olympic bronze winners was 34.
Yeah, that was, I mean, how epic was that, guys? Like,
Yeah,
did you guys tune in for the
absolutely. Yes.
oh,
Yeah,
I
did.
set an alarm. I told the kids, I was like, "No, we're not watching Paw Patrol. We're watching the US men's hockey team take down Canada." Um, I mean, it's just like I don't have you guys ever watched the movie Miracle?
Yeah,
Of
Miracle
course,
on Ice.
classic.
Classic. I mean,
And
but
also 46 years to that day of the miracle of US winning over Soviet Union, by the
yeah.
way.
So, yeah, and it was I mean, it was just so I think I don't know if we were the favorite going in because when it comes down to it, I think Canada had two of the best players in the world.
Sidney
One,
Crosby was out.
yeah, Sidney Crosby was out, but Connor McDavid is arguably the best player out there right now, if not, could be a generational talent. Um, but I think that was just an example of the U.S. team just, you know, pulling up their bootstraps and going to work. And I don't think that we were necessarily the underdog going in. I'm sure, it was a pretty close margin as far as what they were betting against us. But yeah, I think that when we scored that first goal, it was pretty epic. And then the next period, Canada scored a goal, and then the third period was scoreless. Um, Holy cow. And then you go into overtime and you got these weird new rules that all the Canadians are upset about, but when you look at it,
Take the L, Canada.
both teams had to play with the same same rules. It is
I
hockey. I mean, it
yeah.
is what it is. I mean,
Yeah,
it it's no different than like in baseball putting a guy on second base to
yeah.
make the game go faster. I mean, that game with how good the goalies were playing, that game could have went 15 periods.
That was
Um,
insane.
but yeah, it was pretty insane, pretty wild. And then
Yep.
you look at the women's team and they absolutely crushed Canada,
Yeah.
but Canada had already made the tournament, and they were sitting a bunch of people. I think it was 5-0 in the pool play stuff, and then they come back and I think they kinda knew that Canada wasn't gonna play around, and they did the same exact thing as, the ladies took them to overtime and then beat them in overtime, so
Yeah.
that was pretty both of them were very just epic,
Yeah.
and then, I
Insane.
mean, I mean, you just print the t-shirts now. The Jack Hughes smiling with the American flag over his shoulders, and he's just missing like 2 or 3 teeth.
That is a legendary photo right there.
Just
He
just
sacrificed for his team.
just and I think we talked about it. If we didn't talk about it on here, we talked about it before we went on air. Just melt down that gold and make him a grill, make him some teeth.
Did
Wow.
for sure.
That's gotta happen.
Insane. Jack
Insane.
Hughes is a legend for
He's a
sure for the
legend.
Olympics.
Couldn't even tell you what hockey team he plays for.
I believe he plays for
Yeah.
the Devils.
I believe it
Yeah,
is,
New Jersey Devils.
but wouldn't have been
You
able
The
to
know,
tell you
man,
before that.
he loves America, and he said
I
that in his interviews.
yeah. Well, and I'm lucky because there is actually a humongous Jack Hughes fan that goes to Alliance High School. I don't know if you guys know, but I'm gonna give her a shout out. Sophia White loves the New Jersey
Yeah,
Devils, loves Jack Hughes, and so earlier this year she goes to a New Jersey Devils game. I'm getting an earful of it every day, and she's like, "Oh, I just want to go back to New Jersey and watch Jack Hughes play." And I was like, "Dude, who is Jack
Who
Hughes?
is Jack
Who is
Hughes?
this random?" And then we come to the Olympics, and
The
look
golden
who
goal.
shows up and
Yep.
shows out. Jack
wow,
Hughes,
Twice.
absolute
Shows
baller.
up twice.
Yeah, I mean,
yeah,
it was just crazy, man.
Yeah.
yeah. She's
That's
a freshman too, so
yeah.
Yeah, but just oh man, so crazy.
That's pretty wild. I mean,
insane.
it's like I said. And did you see that on that 1980s roster there was a Jack Hughes?
Yes, I did. I did.
I don't think I saw that, but
Yeah,
that's
and
pretty
That is
crazy.
that is pretty crazy.
that is a coincidence,
It
huh?
is. Um all right, Giovanni, did you have another sport?
Ski jumping, I believe.
What a wild sport. That's
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
one
another one where it's
that's
just like,
one
where do you come up with that?
where do you go?
yeah.
I got another one that I'll throw at you guys and then we'll see after that. But go
Okay.
ahead. Go ahead.
Okay. Ski jumping this year, honestly, it was pretty decent. I didn't watch the ski jumping. I only saw the Lindsey Vonn injury. Sending prayers out to Lindsey Vonn. But honestly, I think the ski jumping this year was pretty decent, and that was it. That's all I got.
Yeah, so ski jumping, let's talk about that. Where do you come up with this? I'm sure that back in the day that it was a much shorter, much compact course and there was just guys going down the hill and jumping as far as they could and, kind of like hold my beverage, watch what I'm about to do kind of moment. And turns into a competition, but at the same time, um what it has turned into is wild how far these people are flying down the hill.
Yeah,
Absolutely wild.
I just looked it up, and in like the 1800s, the record was 9.5 meters, which is 31 feet, and it's like even in the early 1900s,
Yeah.
they went straight to like just like demolishing that number. I mean,
Well, yeah, what did you say, 31 meters? Or 31 feet?
31 feet, it was 9 meters.
9 meters. Do you wanna know what the record is?
Hit me.
Yeah.
Well, it was a Red Bull feat. It wasn't, it was one of those ones where
Yeah.
like let's do everything we can to get this. It wasn't a competition. It's like the guy who jumped out of a satellite. Um it's 291 meters.
Dude.
Wow.
That's almost a kilometer. Or
Insane.
no, it's not almost a kilometer. It's almost 1,000 feet. Sorry, it's almost
Wow.
It's like,
1,000 feet.
dude,
Insane
that's
though.
just so ridiculous, man.
He
There's
flew. He flew on skis. He probably
yeah,
went
that's
further than the Wright brothers went on their first flight.
but yeah, it's just
Good one there.
totally crazy. But then it brings out those weird characters because you got everyone knows the movie of the British ski jumper Eddie the Eagle, where
Right.
he was like the first British uh winter or whatever like ski jumper,
Yeah.
and they made a movie out of it, and it's fantastic, and
Yeah.
it's just a great story.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And he
that's
didn't even
insane.
go that far, but he was the first one. So
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, that one's a weird one. All right. So here I got another weird one for you.
Okay.
I get the bobsled. I'm sure at one point that was like what we did as kids. You're going down the hill. Here, jump on the back of this. Let's go.
You go into the
S-
skeleton.
Same with the skeleton. No, no, no. Same with the
Oh, okay.
skeleton, where it's like, all right, I'm going to do this, but head first. How could I go faster? Let's do it on ice, like kind of stuff. You know what I mean? Like let's go as fast as I can. So the one that I can't like wrap my head around, two people having a conversation about like, hey, let's go do this, is the doubles luge. Have you seen that
Yeah,
one?
no,
No,
yeah,
I
yeah.
haven't.
You get and nowadays it's even more awkward is you get two guys in spandex and they're just laying on top of
Literally
each
laying
other.
on top of each other, dude. That
Right?
you know what? Yeah,
That's one where I'm like, all right, I get curling. It's just a bunch of guys with brooms pushing around stones.
right.
I get ski jumping even, and we're just pushing it to the max. But I'm like, who are the first two guys that were like, hey, lay on me here and let's go down this ice tube? It's
Pretty crazy.
And to me, it gets to a point where I think they just need to make this like a couples event, right? You look at the way, and I see it personally. Like it just kind of comes back the past two Olympics, but like the pictures of the dudes getting off this like the sled and they're looking at each other and they're smiling and it's like, yeah, you guys were just like laying on top of each other for like the past minute and a half going 80 miles an hour
yeah,
down
90 miles an
ice
hour. Yeah.
track. So
Right.
like,
I just hope they don't mix the skeleton and the luge together into doubles. That would be even more
Phew.
awkward.
then they're laying on their. I was gonna say that they're on their stomachs.
Hey,
Yeah.
Morrison, I'm gonna have to do something on this computer. I'll be back in just 1 minute,
Sounds
okay?
good. All good. Yeah, I think that doubles luge might be the weirdest. I don't know if I can off the top of my head think of a weirder Olympic event.
Yeah, and it's like, I don't know. There's something about it where you have to think, what does it take to be an Olympian in that? Because I think
Ooh,
I could
I'm
like
back. I'm back.
to an extent. I think I could, if I trained, I could perform at the Olympics in that event because there's just
Oh,
it's like the funnel, right? You look at the funnel of people who are doing which events, and
yeah.
you got like bobsled, skeleton, luge, and just all the talent funnels down. And then right at the bottom, you have the doubles luge, which obviously no offense to those people because it's probably like it probably is really difficult,
Oh, I
but of all of the ice track sports, what made you choose doubles luge?
I'll be honest with you. I could not imagine going. I mean, unprotected the bobsled. I could.
You got the helmet.
Yeah, well, you get it. You have kind of a car that if something
Yeah, you
goes
got the car.
haywire,
You
you're
got
inside
yeah.
the car or the sled.
Right,
But
right.
the skeleton and the luge, if something happens, you're going 90 miles an hour down an ice chute. You might die.
Oh, I will say,
Yeah.
even in
You-
the bobsled, I don't know if you saw
I did see the U.S. mess
there
like
the
go.
U.S.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the dude went
that one looked
flying off the
nuts.
track, and
Yeah. Well,
they
you got
hit
to
the
think
sidewall.
like
And
between those four people,
Yeah.
they probably get that thing moving around 15 to 20 miles an hour. And then you're trying to jump in it while it's moving and you don't get it, you're hitting the wall. I mean, it
yeah,
is a tight arena there. Um,
Yeah.
as going back to what you said, Cooper, I've always joked, and I am kind of joking. I'm about 50-50 joking, serious. I've always said, like, you give me 1 month, I could be like an Olympic curler.
Hmm.
You give me 1 month, 30 days, 8 hours a day to practice curling, and I could be an Olympic curler. I'm
Yeah.
about
yeah. I
50% serious.
Yeah.
I with all due respect to those guys, because I do think that what they do is at the highest level. But I mean, they're just putting a stone down there. And once you
right.
learn the patterns, you can start to figure out how to curl, the speed, all that stuff. There's really no, it's really just a skill. There's no athleticism involved, which when we look back at like the biathlon or cross country skiing or speed skating or men's hockey, women's hockey, that there is a ton of athleticism that's required to do those sports.
Yeah.
I can't say that there's a lot of athleticism required for curling, which is where like I think that's a skill that I could learn. I don't have to be 6'4", 220 pounds of muscle. I could be, a 36-year-old dad.
Right. And to me, the athleticism part, which is like, it's crazy because you look at how like people's like their natural athleticism and their bodies are optimized for their sports. It's like they talk about Michael Phelps, like
Right.
his
He's
body's
a
the
freak.
perfect
Right.
torso length to
Correct.
be an insanely good swimmer. You have to think when you're in one of these like super niche sports, what would happen if one of these like top level athletes who are playing in the MLB, NFL, NHL, any of that, but like they're using their athletic gifts for that instead of badminton. It's like again, no offense to badminton players because they are insanely talented, but
Yeah.
if you have one of these people with like insane hand-eye coordination and the wingspan, they would come over, and if they trained badminton since they were 8 instead of basketball, you have to think, would that person be like the LeBron of badminton? And that's a thought that goes through my head a lot where I'm like, obviously no offense to these other people, but they're not like the top level athletes in the world because their sport doesn't make as much money or it's not as mainstream.
Well, I love asking the question. I like that you brought that up. It's like, is LeBron James a better basketball person or a person than he
You
is a
meant
person?
player?
Is a better basketball player or is he a better person? Which one is he better at?
I'm gonna have to say player.
100%. He's like number 2 in the world, number 1 in the world. He's not the number 1 person in the world.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and
So like who fits that mold? Better person than player.
Giovanni.
Go ahead, Giovanni.
Well, quick, I had to fix something on my computer. There was
Okay.
no Bluetooth on my headphones, so
Oh, you're good.
that was a little bit of technical difficulty there, but I'm good.
That's what we're all right. We're not going to take ourselves too serious.
Yep. You keep going, Coop, or whatever.
So,
well,
we were no, I think. Go ahead, Cooper.
We were talking about like just like the better person or athlete, and there's so many like not undermined but underrepresented athletes or like just so far ahead of the competition. I watched a video the other day about what's his name, the softball pitcher who he gosh, I'm blanking on his name. Eddie Feiner, who he had a 4-man softball team.
The king in his court.
And they banned him from playing full teams because he was too good.
Yeah.
He was too good of a pitcher.
Really?
And he struck out over 8,000 people blindfolded. Like him and a 4-person team was the best team in the world.
The Savannah Bananas before the Savannah Bananas.
Right. Yeah, right.
It's just I mean, it's crazy, and he's completely overlooked because he played men's softball in the and he played forever too, but like in the 60s, not in the 60s, when did he start? In the 40s or 50s? Like, you're playing a men's softball at that time. Obviously, you're going to be underrepresented as an athlete or as a skilled player.
Yeah.
Well, guys, this is all. This was a special episode. We kind of missed out on the Winter Olympics and getting able to kind of dissect that and talk about that. And so we wanted to put together something. And I had a lot of fun. The history side of me, and I know Cooper, you love trivia and quizzes and stuff like that. So this kind of fits that. And Giovanni, I know you have a good time watching those sports, but I just wanted to put together this one. I appreciate that. This is basically all we had for this episode.
Okay.
And I know that next week we'll try and do it again. We've got March Madness rolling around the corner.
Happy March, everybody.
March is upon us. We do have some, we're not quite to conference championship week. But it is coming up quickly.
Yeah.
It'll be here mid-March, and it will get
Yeah.
hectic. I don't know if you guys caught the Ohio State game
I
at all.
did. That was insane.
They need that. They gotta have a
Yeah.
win. So if the
Yeah.
Buckeyes wanna continue,
They gotta keep winning.
they gotta keep winning, so
And
Yeah.
we are kicking back up into, I mean, all kinds of athletics right now.
yep.
I
Yeah.
know I've been seeing so much of high school indoor and some in the warmer areas, outdoor tracks starting up. We got high school basketball playoffs, which I'm always excited for.
Yep.
Got the
Alliance
NFL
Aviators.
Combine.
Yeah,
You got
Combine.
Yeah, we got the
spring
NFL free
training games.
agency,
Yep. NFL free agencies, full
MLB
So
swing.
opening
much.
day soon.
Yep, we got spring training.
I don't know if you guys
World
saw
Baseball
this.
Classics coming,
Oh yeah, that's
Yeah.
fun.
which
I saw
which
this
I'll
clip
have.
of this
Yeah.
saw this clip of this kid who's playing for the Tigers in a spring training game, and he's got like 5 diamond chains on, all the eye black and
Max Clark.
Wow.
sunglasses, and then
Insane.
made 3 straight errors on 3 straight plays in the same inning.
Now,
Wow.
I come from an old school form of baseball where that stuff just doesn't fly with me. However, I
Yeah.
will defend him slightly. Once you make
Yeah.
one mistake, you got to make an adjustment. You can't let it keep getting the best of you. But the sun
Yeah.
was insane, and I'm
Yeah.
sure the necklaces didn't help.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't really
Can't
to me,
imagine that there wasn't. There's
Yeah.
probably a whole lot of glare coming off of those.
I
Yeah.
had no hate on the drip. I just thought it was like, oh
I'm not a
man.
big fan of the drip.
I was like,
I
you're in your first spring training game, and in one inning you put together probably an unforgettable repertoire for all these scouts
right.
watching you play.
Oh.
Well,
I thought that
it
was-
wasn't his first. He
Oh, it
got
wasn't his
drafted, I
first?
believe, 2 years ago,
Yeah, that's right.
straight out of high school. So he's only like 20 years old. So,
Wow.
Yeah. No offense, bud, but you have not earned those chains yet. You have not earned
He
the
definitely
drip.
got paid the money for the
I
chain.
know he's got the
'Cause
swag,
I
but
believe he was the first overall pick that year.
I think so.
But yeah,
Yeah, I just saw that. I was like, dude,
you're
that was
absolutely
really
right,
funny.
Cooper. You got to earn the right to wear that in a game.
Yeah.
So yeah, World Baseball Classic also coming up. I've got a
Yeah.
great interview with Zach DeZenzo of Team
Yeah.
Italy.
Yeah.
But I'll get that video posted, edited and posted for you guys, and then we also talk about the Houston Astros and making the 40-man roster. So
Yeah.
that was a good. Zach DeZenzo is a former player of mine. Good guy, all around good guy.
Okay.
Definitely a better person than he is a baseball player. No offense to
Yeah,
Zach.
definitely.
That's actually a great
definitely.
compliment because
Mhm.
Zach isn't in the top 100, but I put him in the top 100 of best guys to be around. So
Yeah.
we'll see how that goes.
That'll be
Alright.
that'll be a fun
Giovanni?
one to watch. I'll be
Yeah.
watching
Oh,
that.
you guys will like it. You guys will like it.
What
Giovanni,
we
you got one last thing to say?
Yeah, I do.
Go ahead. Wrap us up.
I do. Oh my gosh. Did you saw the Cavs almost lost to the worst team Nets?
Yeah. Yeah. Cavs are
Yeah,
I
real
don't know.
injury
I don't
prone.
listen, Giovanni. Talk to me when April shows up. We're
Yeah.
injury prone.
Yeah.
I'm kind of sour. I believe
Yeah.
I believe that the NBA
I'm glad Harden is back,
may or may
but
not be fixed.
yeah.
There's just a lot of injuries at very convenient moments, and a lot of teams that win when
Yeah.
they shouldn't and lose when they should. And
It's like the NFL, like who's good and who's bad.
I know, but the NFL is so much harder to. The NBA is just you get guys that are going
Yeah.
really hard in the last 2 minutes when the game doesn't matter,
Yeah.
or they're not going hard at all when they should be. So
Yeah, and it's interesting
Yeah.
because the frequency of the games, it's like the NFL, you
Yeah.
got one game a week, but the NBA, like you're playing 2-3 games a week, and this is happened frequently.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. The NBA has a problem that needs fixed. Let's put it that way.
Oh
And I
yeah.
don't think that the answer is playing more games, and I don't think that the answer is finding teams for
They
taking
should low
load
the
management.
games. They
I
should just
just
low the games
I think that lowering
because
the
of
number of
injuries.
games intensifies competition. If that is what they're all about.
Yeah.
If that's what they claim, Yeah, but at the same time, I don't know if that's what they claim. That viewership is what they're after.
And
Like,
also,
It's a
and
business.
also, and also, if we're back here next week, are we gonna do NBA, NFL? Are we
Yeah,
gonna
we'll try
continue
and
with that?
we'll try and continue that. And would one of you want to take over a quiz?
I would.
All right,
All right.
Giovanni, you want to make one up for me and Cooper?
Yeah, do I have to make one, or I know you had all the quizzes and all that stuff.
Oh no, you gotta listen. If I know what the quiz is, that's like cheating.
I know,
I'll know
but
the answers. I want
I
you to.
know.
I don't want you to make us one.
Do I have to make it on Google Slides or something?
You do whatever you want to do. If you just want to ask us the questions, you can do that.
Yeah, I would just do that.
Okay. And then I have one once we get closer to
March Madness.
March Madness for you guys.
Ooh,
Yeah.
that'll be
Already
fun.
loaded up, ready to go. Oh,
Yeah,
you'll
March
like
will
it.
be a great month.
You
I was gonna
would
say,
Cooper, you would probably do better at this quiz than I would.
our segments going forward are probably gonna be pretty fun. We're get a little
Yeah.
drama in the NBA, get March Madness.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Off season for,
And also MLB too.
I was gonna say off
Right,
season. Well,
yeah.
right now off season for MLB, but we're getting into that already.
We're right there.
And then
Yeah.
off season for NFL. The draft has been crazy. I saw Drew Aller throwing balls to
I saw
absolute
that.
nobodies. They can't catch anything. It's hilarious. But
A lot of crazy combine stuff right now too. Yeah.
Yeah. And I just
well,
saw that Mendoza, this joke said it would be real funny if Mendoza gets arrested if his draft falls.
I can't see him getting arrested.
I know, but that was a joke.
He's just such a nice guy.
I
Yeah,
know,
Seems
but
like a
I saw
quality
that
individual.
joke and I thought it was funny.
Now, if you were talking about Diego Pavia,
Yeah.
yeah, that guy's part of the
he might go
mafia.
downfall.
he's his own worst enemy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, all right, Giovanni, you want to round us off and bring us home?
Yep.
Go
Yep.
ahead.
Subscribe to Ohio Sportscast just so you can watch Giovanni Schefter, breaking news and the updates. Subscribe to Top Gun Podcast. Subscribe to Coop Dog Sports. Subscribe to Smee Sports. Subscribe to famous YouTubers Tom Grossi. And subscribe to That's Good Sports. And also, it's not about being right. It's about sounding confident.
All
There
right,
we go.
gentlemen.
All
It was a
right.
pleasure. See ya.
All right.
See ya.
See ya.